Good morning. Happy Boxing Day. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas yesterday, that you all had a really nice day and that Santa came and everybody got what they wanted. We had a really quiet, peaceful day. I think everybody here got what they wanted. We were up from the crack of dawn, as we always are, to check to see if Santa had been. And he had, and the place is now in chaos, but it's good chaos. Today is, you get me as you find me. I don't even think I've brushed my hair, but you'll probably say I'm like that most days, but today I definitely am. Boxing Day is the laziest day in this house. No one, well actually 2 people aren't out of bed yet, and it's almost noon. And we just stay in pyjamas all day and watch movies and Christmas TV and eat yummy leftovers. My favourite meal of the Christmas period is today, and that is a filled bread roll with all the leftovers on it that you need to hinge your jaw to eat. But if I could just skip to this meal at Christmas, I would be happy. It's my favourite. So that's coming up at lunchtime. Looking forward to that. But yeah, today is all about trying to eat all the sweets that are in the house and eat the leftovers and relax and knit. Yesterday in some of the lulls I worked on my sock, and I'm on the last repeat before the toe. So this will be finished today, and maybe the second one cast on. I got some yarny gifts. I got lovely yarn, which you will have seen from Selma, Little Big Knits. This is beautiful yarn. I think she picked up at Barcelona Knits last month. And it's baby alpaca linen, and I assume that's cotton in Spanish. But beautiful. So I have to decide what to do with this. And my natural inclination is another ranunculus. But I'll see if there's anything else. I also got sock yarn, which I'm going to get up and get, because I didn't take a photograph of it. My mum always puts together, oops, there's so much stuff. I don't know what your house is like, but there's so much stuff on the floor. My mum still puts together a bag of, almost like a stocking, for each of us, which is lovely. And yeah, it's just really nice. And her local newsagent this year decided to stock yarn. And they have sock yarn. And I got 2 different balls of sock yarn. The colours are so pretty. This is my autumn kind of colours, and it feels like quite a summery colour. It's James C. Brett Funny Feet. And this is, it was something like, it was £5 a ball, which, I mean, I'll get 2 pairs of socks out of this. And it's a mix of superwash wool, 50% superwash wool, 25% polyamide and 25% bamboo. So it's really nice yarn. And I like this kind of sock yarn because it is so hardy and hard wearing. So that was a nice little treat as well. And the other yarny gift I got was from the family, and it was a linen. You will have seen, it's a Knit Picks linen. I got a little basket full of it, which was lovely. So some yarny gifts in there, which was really nice to get, and just generally lovely things. And today I'm going to enjoy looking at them, and then I have to think about finding homes for everything, but that'll come later. Hello, it's December the 28th. It's Thursday, I think. We're in that time warp where I'm not quite sure the day of the week, but I think it's Thursday. And I just thought I would sit down and chat to you today. I didn't talk to you at all yesterday. We had a lovely Christmas. We had a really, really lovely Christmas. It was very quiet, as we like it. It was just the four of us, and we just had a really nice time enjoying our presents, enjoying our presents together. Just being together was lovely. And Christmas Day and Boxing Day were just quiet. We sat about, ate too much probably, and watched Christmas movies and Christmas TV, and I knit, and everybody just looked through what they'd got, and it was just really quiet. Yesterday was a bit of a write-off for both Peter and I. Both of us felt a bit unwell, and I think it's just exhaustion at this time of year, but we're fine today and out and about again, and finally have proper clothes on and not just Christmas pyjamas. And the house is an absolute chaos. Absolute chaos, because I'm starting to dismantle Christmas, and I'm just going to do it gradually over the next couple of days, but I'm kind of lifting things as I pass them, and the sunroom at the back of the house becomes the dumping ground until everything is packed away and sorted. So everywhere's just chaos around me. There's stuff sitting everywhere. Everything's in the appropriate room, but not in the appropriate place, in the appropriate room. So there's a basket sitting up there, and just everything's cluttered. But I'm taking time out for a little while to look at my planner for 2024. I always do this around this time of year. I got a new planner for Christmas, and over the next couple of days I'll decorate it and get it ready for the coming year, and think about what I want my aims to be for the year and my word of the year. But I'll start with the actual planner, and this is last year's planner, and it was the first time I think I'd got this one. First or second time, maybe this is the second time. But I love this planner. This is the Hobonichi Taco 2024 cousin, and this is my new one. I got it again because I really like the format of it, and I like this one because last year I thought I had got the English version, but I hadn't. This year I did get the English version, which is great. Not that it really mattered, because all I wanted were the dates. But I love this planner because of the format. It's one of the few planners I have pretty much kept up to date with. Now, there were periods in it that I didn't, but I have pretty much kept up to date with it all year. The first section of this planner, try and get one that doesn't have big appointments on it. Yeah, this one's okay. The first section is a monthly layout, and I use this for, if I know there's a trip coming up, I'll put it in. For example, last April I had a couple of days in Ballycastle on the north coast, and I'll put in birthdays and things like that. So this was very much, it's not used an awful lot, but it does have the important things like birthdays and things that I can just easily reference. The second part of the cousin is the dailies, and this one's okay. There's nothing particularly personal in it, and it's each day. And I did start to do this with it, where I marked off my AM routine, which is pretty much always the same. It's, I get up, I have a bit of time when I'll journal and be quiet and just get myself into the day. I don't look at tech. I learned that really last year. I found that just not looking at my phone or whatever during that time eases me into a day quietly, which I need. And occasionally there's exercise in there, but that's one of my aims for this year, ties in with my focus for the year. But yeah, that's AM routine. And then sometimes I write meals in the bottom section. Maybe other wee lists go in here, and then just put in what is happening during the day. I might at the beginning of the week put a few things that I want to cover in the week in here. So that has been really, really good. And I mean, that is quite a decorated page for me. I am not artistic as in painting and drawing. It's stickers, just random stickers. And sometimes I keep up with the stickers and sometimes I don't. But this was a pretty page. And this was something I got off yarn that I got last Christmas, I think. I love the Witcher series, and toss a coin to your Witcher. So it went in here. The last section of the planner is the bit that I'm changing this year. This section, I can get one that I didn't use, because it was really good for part of the year and then stopped. But these are daily pages, so that you have a full page. Oops, and everything gets shoved into this. It's a full page. And I did decorate some of them. I've stuck things like this in was a place we visited this year. I'm going back again in April. Or May. I'm going back. But this was the section I used for journaling, and I just tried to journal, and I did for a good part of the year, journaled every day. I had this was my word for last year, restore. I'm not sure how well that happened, but there were many, many good things. Some things were restored this year, which were needed, but there's still work to be done there. But this was my journaling, and that was the one section that was problematic. I need the planner, and I need the dailies, etc., to be able to throw into my bag, so that if I'm out and about and I'm with somebody and something comes to mind, I can jot it down. It can be anywhere in the house and I don't mind. But the problem is with the journal, I mean, that's usually just all my thoughts and feelings, and there were some heavy feelings this year and heavy things to work through, and I don't really want those where someone else can see them, or if I lost the journal, if I was out, it's all out there. So that's where this year's is going to differ slightly. I haven't done anything with it yet. I have barely cracked it open. But the dailies, the monthly pages and the weekly pages are going to be the same. I'm going to do the same. But I'm planning this year in the daily pages just to make those lists, and where I might have in my weekly pages things I need to do in a day, the more detailed lists. And lists for me can be something as simple as clear the dishwasher, put a load of washing on, and it's just, or things I need to remember to get, or just generally jotting down things. It's going to be a more practical space. I need lists to keep my mind on things, and that actually brings me into my word for 2024. My word for 2024 is going to be focus. I very easily get distracted, and if there are other things going on, and there's usually quite a lot going on, my focus shifts, and if I don't have it written down, I'll not do it. So that is partly what this is for focus. And my aim with that word of the year, my focus this year is on health, physical health. I have been really working on mental health, and that's coming. That's a constant work in progress, but my physical health has also been impacted, and I don't like that, and I really want to try and get my physical health back in order. So that is kind of my main aim for 2024. I'm not setting a resolution. I'm not setting, right, I have to be a certain size, weight, whatever by such and such a time. It is just generally to improve my physical health. I need to drink more water. I need to move more. I used to move a lot, and over the last couple of years I've become pretty stagnant and stationary, and it has really impacted the general overall health, physical and mental. So that is something I need to focus on. Just generally improving health. All the other benefits from that will hopefully happen, but they are not my primary goal. I have beautiful sweaters that I have knit over the years that no longer fit. Hopefully that will be a benefit of working on my physical health, that those will start to feel better on. But yeah, it's just generally focus on health, and whatever else I do during the year to focus on it and retain focus. So that is my plan, and even my knitting. And I'm going to talk about knitting on another day because I have different ideas for my knitting this year, but that's for another time. But just to focus on that as well. I lost my knitting mojo very early on this year. I think it had been starting to wane maybe from the end of the year before, and there were a few months where there was always something done but very little. And in the last month and a half, and partly thanks to Vlogmas and all your encouragement, I think I've my knitting mojo back. I'm really enjoying it. I want to dive into the yarn that I've got and I've planned, but I'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. So back to the planner. I have my planner. I want to decorate it. The family bought me that, and they got me some new stickers, nature stickers. Last year, I very much got into my garden. And when I say I got into my garden, not to garden. I'm not a gardener, and the amount of dead plants I have would vouch for that. But I have a space at the bottom of the garden that in the better weather I go down to very often in the morning. It's the first thing I do. It's part of my routine in the morning is I go down there, bring my coffee or something with me, and just sit and meditate, for want of a better word. So I love everything about, it's given me a real love for the garden and the birds and nature again. So some beautiful butterflies, and the butterflies are important to me. So those are going to be used to decorate. I have other stickers in there that I'll use, and they'll make an appearance again. And I'm just going to reuse the cover that I had. I got this cover year before last, I think. Oh, it's full of stuff as well. Leather cover. And I got this from an Etsy shop that's based in Ukraine. And this year I got a second one because to deal with the journaling issue, I still need to journal. I got myself this. It's just a blank notebook that I'll decorate. And this is going to be my journal because it doesn't have dates on it, so I'm not fixed to feeling that I have to write in it every day, because I get very anxious about empty dates. So I'll just date this as and when I use it and write in it. And I got practically the same journal cover, only this time it's a moss green, again leather, and it's from the Etsy shop in Ukraine, and I will link it in the description below. So these are my journals and planners for this year. This one for the practical day-to-day, everyday planner, and this one for the deep thoughts and feelings. And just generally writing down memories, and it's not all negative. There's lots of positive things that go in here too, special things that happen during the year. So that is my plan for my planners, with my word for the year focus and my main focus being on my health this year. And and yeah, I'm looking forward to decorating that over the next few days, and I'll let you see the stages that I am in as I'm decorating. My journals are coming together. This one is going to be very, very simple. I haven't put any decoration in it as yet, just the blank book. I may add stickers to it as I journal, but it simply is for simply that, journaling, putting in things that I collect maybe during the year. But I have decorated the front of it just with paper and some stickers. And this is my planner. Again, I've just decorated the start. This one is going to have more decoration on the inside. I want to put my word of the year in here. It probably will go in this one as well, but certainly at the front here, just so that every day I can remember and see it. So I do need to decorate this page yet, but there's no rush in any of that. And then I have the first month for the weekly pages, I should say, ready. I'm just keeping it simple. Stickers and tape. I can start to fill in the appointments that are on my phone and in various other places, just to get them all together and try and make this the place to be for all my plans. So that's the first month, and my aim is that at the beginning of every month or end of a previous month, just to set this out again for the next month and keep up to date like that. Apologise for the lighting. It is such a dark, grim day. We have a storm blowing through, very wet, windy, dark weather. So hopefully the lighting is okay. It's as good as I can get it at the moment. But I wanted to talk a bit about my knitting plans for 2024. My knitting plans are quite simple. There's nothing very exciting about them. There are lots of channels at the moment putting up their plans for 2024, and they've all these dreams of knitting loads and loads and loads of stuff. And this year I'm not putting that on myself. I knit so little in 2023 that I'm just glad to be knitting again and having my mojo again, that I'm keeping my plans quite simple at the start of the year. Then I'm less likely to get discouraged when they don't necessarily happen. But one of the things that you will have noticed through this Vlogmas series is that I've really got back into my sock knitting, and I have my sock mojo back at the moment, and we'll take it for what it is. I knit 2 pairs of socks before Christmas, which you have seen. The Find the Joy socks by Kay Litton, the DK Vanilla socks by Kay Litton, and I had started the Knit Nook socks by Kay Litton. You'll notice a theme. Kay Litton is a crazy sock lady, for those of you who don't know, and she creates the most beautiful sock patterns, for which I think there is still a sale possibly on. I think it's up until the end of the year, so until tomorrow night, I think, where you get discount. I think it was Vlogmas 23 possibly was the code. I'll put it in the description box if it's still valid. And so I've been knitting Kay's sock patterns because I love them, and I'm planning a year of her sock patterns, and I stocked up on the sale and now have more than enough patterns, plus some of the ones that I already had, to get me through to the end of the year. But I had started the Knit Nook socks and I have finished them. I really am on a sock knitting kick at the moment. This was the Fondant Fibre yarn that you chose when I put up the poll. This just had the majority because it's such deep stash and it is beautiful. I love this. These socks knit up so quickly, so quickly. For a change, I changed to a 2.75mm needle, and I think I mentioned it at some point during Vlogmas. 2.5mm, which is a US 1.5, is what I usually use, and a 64 stitch cast on. But I'm finding that's just a bit neat, particularly on my leg. The foot's not so bad, but on my leg and ankle. So I had gone up to 68 stitches, but that's okay for some patterns, but not for others. So I thought, stick to the 64 stitch, but go up to the next needle size, which is 2.75. And that's what these are. And I think it has created a much better fit for me. But that pattern is just so gorgeous. There's a, I'll take one off the blocker actually, so that you can see it. This way, you'll see the whole pattern. So you have a lovely central spine to it. And then a beautiful lacy, very, very simple, very memorable pattern. And this took no time at all. I did a 20 row cuff, which is unusual. And if I can reach it, oh, big stretch. It's my yoga for the day. With these socks and a 100-gram ball, I have this amount left. I use just over, if I'm doing the entire sock with the same yarn, I would say I use about 55 grams, 60 grams. I have a small foot, and then I don't knit them particularly long. I usually do a repeat less than Kay would suggest, but she's tall and I am not. So I am delighted with these. Look at the colours, they're so pretty. And what's left of this yarn will go into some of the projects that I'll talk about in a wee minute. So plans for 2024 are to continue with the Kay Litten socks. I'll put the hashtag for what I'm doing on the screen. It's HCC's Crazy Sock Lady. If you want to join me in Crazy Sock Lady socks, it's just a hashtag so we can see each other's work. And every year I have run the Lucky Dip knit along, and that's just going to continue. I haven't picked out my yarns yet. If you haven't been here before, the Lucky Dip knit along is again very informal, and what I do is go through my stash and get 12 random skeins, single skeins. It can be fingering weight, it can be DK, it can be worsted, Aran, bulky, but just a single skein of each. So it's kind of those either leftover skeins that you haven't used, or do you know the way we all buy a single skein of sock yarn, fingering weight yarn, and then it sits. So I have a few of those, so I'm going to pick out 12 or get someone else to go through my stash, pick out 12, and every other year I've put them into individual little bags, paper bags, and then put them in a basket or another bag, and each month I draw one. This year I think I'm just going to get them to put them into a tote bag, and I'll just close my eyes and dip in, and just keep it even simpler. This does not have to be complicated. So with my random skeins, my lucky dip, and I'll put the hashtag here again for that. I'll just keep the hashtag that there was and keep the Ravelry group open. I do have prizes. I was sent beautiful yarn during the year, and I think at the beginning of the year, next week, when I record a normal podcast again, I'll announce winners for that. I will draw from the hashtag and from the Ravelry group, so Instagram and Ravelry. So if you haven't put your projects up there, your finished projects in either of those two places, get that done and I'll draw from those. So the Lucky Dip Cal and my Crazy Sock Lady year of knitting will kind of combine. Most of my random skeins will be sock weight yarn, I would imagine, and I would imagine that the majority of those will be knit into socks, so I will be working Crazy Sock Lady patterns for those. But I did start another pair of Crazy Sock Lady socks, and I'm going to try and find the pattern to show you. I have my iPad in front of me, and oh, wrong pattern. This one. These are the socks I decided to cast on next. They are the campfire socks, and they just have a very simple cable pattern up the front of them. The back is plain and the pattern goes up the front. And I decided to cast these on with the other yarn that I had shown you and that had been in the poll. And again, if I can find the bag. And this yarn was a homespun house. That's the label. And the colourway is staying in. And the contrast is this one. I love the colours in this. Not so much in daytime and natural light, but at night, the way it's working up, it reminds me of hot chocolate. There are colours in there that are definitely not hot chocolatey colours, but hot chocolate and marshmallows is what it reminds me of. So I decided to start these, and this is a heaven-sent journey. I am loving the journey through these socks. This is the sock so far. It's a beautiful, simple pattern, but I think it's a delicate pattern, and I think the combination of the colours and the pattern are stunning. I'm again on the 2.75 millimeter needle. This time I did 15 rows, and then I got into my pattern, and I love these. I have another repeat to do, and then it's the heel. And again, this one takes a little bit more watching the pattern because it's a 12-row repeat, and just to keep an eye on it. But once you get going, you can read your knitting much more easily. The first maybe repeat, you have to really watch the pattern, and then after that, you kind of have got a feel for it. And I love these. So I am working at those at the moment. So I have mentioned that my word of the year this year is focus. And whilst I do have one cast on planned at some point, I'm holding off from casting it on until I have focused on some of my whips, because I have quite a few whips. As I said last year, or this year, I haven't knit an awful lot, and I've started projects, but I haven't necessarily got them finished. And one of those that I really want to finish is this project. It's Ghost in the Orchard by Thea Coleman. The light's trying to reflect. I'm trying to show it without the ring light showing. And it's a beautiful cabled vest, but it takes a lot of concentration, which is why I just couldn't keep going with it during the year. But this is how far I've got. It's beautiful cable and moss stitch, seed stitch, cables at the sides, and I am knitting this in my favourite yarn. If I can find the label. Yep, this is the colour. It's like a denim blue. Again, that's quite a good representation of the colour. And it's Studio Donegal, which Studio Donegal Aran has to be my top yarn. I love it. And I can't see the colour under the label, but I'll put any links in the description box. So I really want to get on with this. It is a beautiful, beautiful project, but as I say, it's taking a lot of concentration, and I didn't have that last year, and hopefully with a bit more focus this year I will. So I want to finish that, and the other thing I want to finish is my second Weekender by Andrea Myra. Now I am well up. I'm almost at the armhole. Now this is knit inside out. Once I've finished and start to divide, I'll go around and start working flat. I'll turn it back out the right way, and the right way is actually the reverse stocking stitch. But it's much easier to knit in the round if you knit it inside out until you get to the dividing section. So that is coming on really well, and it's a beautiful mindless knit. And now that the Christmas projects have kind of calmed down, I'll be able to work at that. And guess what yarn I'm knitting this in? I'm sure it'll be hard. Studio Donegal Aran in the shade 5525. That's it all. Hold up. So quite a lot of Studio Donegal to get knit through. So I want to finish knitting that. If I get all those finished, and the sooner I finish those, then I can cast on one project that I have, and that is the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter. I have had this plus the kit. It's Sonder Yarn Sunday Morning DK, and I've had this since my birthday, and my birthday's January, so I've had this all year and haven't got around to casting it on. So I really want this to be my next cast on once I have finished the big project. Someone asked, I can't remember if it was Instagram or Ravelry, if I'm a person who follows trends in knitting and kind of jumps on the big projects. Not usually. The Easy V was very popular, but that has passed, I think. I mean, it's still popular, but it doesn't have the not everyone's knitting it at the moment. I am the kind of person that, well, I've learned over the years to knit what suits me and what I like rather than what everyone else is knitting, because although they're beautiful, they might not be my style, colour, whatever. And so I try to steer away from jumping on bandwagons too early. I tend to be somebody who avoids the bandwagon like the plague. I don't like knitting what everybody else is knitting, usually. Occasionally I'll jump in if it's something that really strikes me, but it has to really strike me. I tend to let the bandwagon pass quite far into the distance before I jump on the bandwagon. I mean, I'm wearing a turtle dove and it was very popular at the time. So it probably was a bandwagon knit, but it was one that I've really, really wanted and absolutely love, and would actually knit this again. It's by Melissa Clulo, formerly of Espace Tricot. It's in a Espace Tricot pattern. And I love this sweater. So that was like a bandwagon-y type, but these other ones, the Weekender again probably was at one point, but it has passed, long past, and it had long passed, I think, the first time I knitted too. So no, I tend not to jump on the bandwagon very quickly anyway, and I pick and choose because not everything that's created suits me or is something I like. So those are the main projects. I am also doing, hopefully on kind of setting aside a day a week, I'm going to work on the ongoing never-ending projects. One of those is the one I started at the beginning of Advent, which is my jelly roll blanket using my Legacy Fibre Arch yarn. I actually haven't knit on this in about 2 weeks because I've been so into my socks. But I'm going to set aside a day a week just to work on the likes of this. And this monstrosity hasn't seen love in a long time. This is my granny stripe blanket. It is massive at the moment. It would take up, I would say it's just over, it's kind of between 1/2 and 2/3, 1/2 and 3/4 done. It's massive. It goes right across our bed and drops down the sides, and it's definitely well over halfway up. But this is a slow project. I am constantly creating magic balls with all the leftovers. So that is another project that I want to kind of work on, particularly at this time of year when it really is already acting as a blanket. And I'm going to set aside a day a week for that and this project. So I think that is the knitting caught up. Later I need to get together all my yarns for my lucky dip. And then I'm just going to get back to my sock knitting for today. I just think I'm in the mood, so go with the flow when it is there. And yeah, I'll check in with you later. The decorations have been taken down and everything is stored again for another year. And I just wanted to come on and finish off the 2023 Vlogmas season with a huge thank you to all of you for your support throughout the year and throughout Vlogmas. I cannot thank you enough for all the positive comments I've got and all the support and friendship that has been shown to me over the past months and during the year when maybe I wasn't as present here as I would like to have been. Thank you for sticking with me. All that's left to do to round out this season is to wish you a very happy new year. I hope 2024 brings you much happiness, much peace and good health. Those are the important things, and I just really hope that yeah, you have a really good 2024, that we will meet along the way. I certainly hope to be more present here on YouTube and continue with all my knitting and all the chat about the knitting. But until I see you again, have a wonderful new